dance journey started when I was about 9 or 10 years old. At that time, I didn't really know much about the Indian classical dance or music or anything like that. And it were my parents who forced me at the beginning to take up Indian classical dance, and I started right with Kathak. At that time, I didn't appreciate that because I couldn't connect to it, I didn't understand it, I didn't know nothing about it. And another reason was that the teaching methods of my first teacher were not really inspiring, if I can say that. He was just doing his job, and I didn't feel like I could connect to this art. I didn't feel like this is something beautiful and deep and meaningful, and I quit at the beginning after 2 years of classes. And then my parents wanted me to try Kuchipudi being the classical Indian dance from Andhra Pradesh or Telangana, where my Indian side of the family comes from. And so I tried that. I tried Kuchipudi. I stick with it for about 2-3 months, maybe, more or less. Didn't connect to it as well. I felt like it was a completely different style, very different from Kathak. And even though it's really beautiful and I love watching some of the performances, but I couldn't feel that it fits my character, even at that young age. I was about 11 years old, maybe, or 12. And then I quit again, okay? And after that, my parents finally found someone who has become my lifelong guru. She taught me everything I know today, and her name is Ekaterina Yurievna Seliverstova. Her colleagues call her Katya. She studied at the Kathak Kendra, the National Institute of Kathak in India, in Delhi. She studied under Guru Urmila Nagarji in Jaipur, Kerala. This is where I have my roots in Kathak. And with that guru, with the Katyaji, I have learned most of the things I know today about Kathak, whether it's pure technique or abhinaya and expressions, or the ability to feel the music, ability to be creative when it comes to choreographic pieces, ability to fuse different styles. In fact, she, unlike many gurus that I know, she inspired me and encouraged me to try fusing Kathak with other dance styles such as Indian folk styles or Bollywood or flamenco or Russian folk or contemporary ballet and stuff like that. So I'm really so thankful to her for being my guru and my mentor, and for growing something out of me. When I started, I wasn't really interested in dance, but I grew up with her being my mentor, and she was like my dance mom. And she still is. Where there are different major classical Indian dance forms such as Kathak, Odissi, Bharatnatyam, Kuchipudi, Kathakali, Mohiniyattam, and a bunch of others. They are really different between each other. You can see that from not only the music, but also the costume, the outfit, the makeup, the kind of choreography you see, the speed. Of all the dance styles, Kathak is one of the most fast-paced, okay? And it's one of the most adaptable dance styles. What I mean by adaptable? I mean that throughout the 2000-year history of Kathak, it's been a dance form that has evolved as time went by. Whatever the historical events happened in that period, Kathak was able to adjust and to adapt to that, whether it was Hindu culture or Muslim culture, or it became a stage performing art. So I really feel like of all the dance styles, I personally am the most connected to Kathak because I grew up in a fast-paced city, Moscow, Russia. Moscow never sleeps. And that's what people say about this city. And that is true because it's such a fast-paced city. It's so lively, it's so happening, it's so active. And so is Kathak. And I feel like I've blended myself with this dance style, and this is now the main form of expression for me. The main way I share my feelings, I share my thoughts, and it all comes out in my Kathak choreographies. Kathak and Kathak fusion choreographies. I'm not gonna lie, lie if I say that the absolute majority of Kathak dancers that I know of got inspired to study Kathak from Bollywood movies, such as Devdas by Sanjay Leela Bhansali, some of the older movies like Mughal Azam or Umrao Jan or Pakiza. All of those films, they have shown the beauty of classical Indian dance styles on the large screen with beautiful actors, very talented, trained dancers. And I feel like I'm not an exception. One of the main reasons I've stayed in dance for so long is because I was able to see the Bollywood films such as Devdas, which is my biggest inspiration, and just connect the dots. Because the dance style used in Devdas is a classical Indian dance style called Kathak. So that's something we see on the large screen in all its grandeur and beauty, and then we want to learn that. We think, oh my god, this is so beautiful, so graceful, so sharp, so meaningful, and how do we approach this? What is it? And that's how a lot of people, including myself and a lot of people that I know, that's how they got into dance. So I feel like if that is the kind of connection we have between Bollywood dance and Kathak, that's the one we want to keep. The one we don't want is when people misunderstand the term fusion and they just do something which is called semi-classical, which is not Kathak, it's not Bollywood, it's something in between, which is not really a dance style in itself. It's just something that exists among dancers, and I see that a lot. Sometimes it upsets me because people without knowledge in classical dance call their performances semi-classical, and then this looks probably even disrespectful to the dance form. So when you know the basics, when you have gone through the entire path of learning Kathak, then you approach Bollywood, and that is a good way of approaching it. Going the other way around, starting with Bollywood and then thinking that if you do it to a classical song, it's going to be Kathak. No, that unfortunately that doesn't work that way. You can try, you can do it for yourself, just for your own pleasure, but you wouldn't do that with ballet, would you? Ballet is a classical dance of the Western world, so why don't we do the same thing with Kathak? I feel like as a classical dance style, it deserves its respect to its traditions, and there's a certain approach to it. You cannot just hop into a class and start dancing and think that, oh, okay, now I've done Kathak. That doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, you have to really spend years in training, doing the footwork, doing the spins, doing all the hand movements, the wrist movements, the chest movements, the eye movements, eyebrows, understanding all of the mudras, all of the facial expressions, and all that. So it's really a path, it's a journey, a lifelong journey. My Guruji used to say that in Kathak you never stop learning, because you might think you know everything, but it's all about constantly polishing, constantly practicing, and just taking the time to really polish everything. Without polishing, very few people can achieve anything in Kathak. From my experience, if I didn't have my Guruji who would make us train hard and polish all of the same steps and same techniques, I wouldn't be where I am today, because my dance would be a little off. And that's the only way that it works. There are very few exceptions, people who are God-gifted and they don't really train, but they look amazing when they dance Kathak. But those are exceptions. For most people, including myself, it takes a long journey of training, polishing, and of course loving what you do. When you want to tell a story in Kathak, you want to make sure that you pour your heart into it and you find a way to express how you feel in an artistic form. Whether that emotion is joy and lightheartedness, or it's sorrow, or it's pain, or it's love, or it's affection. All of those things can be explored in Kathak, and they can be delivered in many different ways, whether it's a devotional love, for example, or a love to a child, or a love to your romantic partner, All of those things exist, and dance in general being a way for all of humankind to express the joy of life, the joy of celebration. Kathak especially is a really good way of exploring that, because once you understand how the dance is built, how the techniques can be applied to the choreographies, how the emotional life, which comes out in abhinaya, your facial expressions, how that adds up. Once you explore all of that, you'll be able to put it all together and then express the most complex emotions through your dance, through your body language, without saying a word. I know a lot of people who can tell a story without saying a word, just with their body language. And that is something that Kathak allows you to explore as a dancer. So if you feel like expressing joy through dance, Kathak is a really incredible way of doing that, if you're looking for something deep. Thank you so much to the Italian Hindu Union. Huge shout out to you guys for organizing our concert in Rome last year. It was incredible. I can't wait to perform again for you guys, and I hope to see you soon.